This is Fairfield, Utah County, home of Camp Floyd State Park. But 150 years ago, 1/3 of the United States Army was camped out right here, ready to take on a so-called Mormon rebellion. Check it out. So to understand Camp Floyd, you really need to understand the Utah War, which wasn't really a war, but it was just kind of one of those weird things. In 1857, President James Buchanan got some exaggerated words that there was going to be a Mormon uprising. So President Buchanan sends 2,500 federal troops across the country on foot to replace Utah's Governor Brigham Young and stop the uprising. Only problem was, nobody told Brigham Young or anybody in Utah that they were coming. The Mormon militia has instructions to stop the U.S. Army. Wow. But they also have specific instructions that they're not to kill anybody. So the U.S. Army starts here, Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, and they have to walk all the way west. It's November of 1857. And I don't know if you know anything about Wyoming in the winter. Lots of snow, lots of cold. They get stuck right there. Their livestock starts dying off. Their troops start freezing. They're running out of supplies, they're running out of food, and they are running out of time. So they come to an agreement with Utah Governor Brigham Young. They had to be 50 miles away from the largest populated area. That's where Camp Floyd comes in. 50 miles from Salt Lake, 50 miles from Provo. So the Army gets here, they set up camp, and what don't they find? They don't find a Mormon uprising. What they do find are harsh winters, dry summers, and a whole lot of nothing to do. But they are getting paid in gold and silver, which means there is now money being funneled into the Utah Territory. Fantastic news for people that were already living here, because they started selling the Army bricks at a penny apiece to build the camp, which they were supposed to use to fight the people that were already living here. How was morale among the soldiers at Camp Floyd? Not great. In fact, it was a 10% desertion rate. One guy called Camp Floyd the most miserable, disagreeable, and uninteresting places that disgraced the earth. There's not a lot of gray area there. Sounds pretty negative to me. This guy's like writing home, he's like, "Dear Camp Floyd, you suck. The end." This is Main Street in Fairfield. Not a lot going on here in the 21st century, but in 1858 through 1861, this was the third largest city in Utah. Over 3,500 federal troops, plus all of the business and commerce that comes with it, which means this street was lined with casinos, stores, saloons, hotels, restaurants, and houses of ill repute. The camp was in operation from 1858 to 1861. The troops had to go do something back east, something about a civil war. Half of the generals went and fought for the Confederacy, the other half went to fight for the Union. They all left, which means everything here was kind of up for grabs.
And now, this.
Check this out, man, they got a gift shop. You can wear a hat, you can get like teddy bears and stuff. I could play with a gun. I wonder if they'd let me shoot one of these for real. Woo-hoo! Nah, they wouldn't let me do that. I'd probably put a hole in something anyway. So one of the only buildings still standing right here is the Stagecoach Inn. In fact, I was just in there taking a tour. Super wide staircases, super tall ceilings, really great bathroom amenities. You could not believe how nice it was in the 1850s. So while there were no combat deaths in the Utah War, there were plenty of soldiers who passed away while stationed at Camp Floyd. They're buried here at the Camp Floyd Cemetery. Most died from disease, some from cold, others got murdered in town, some drank themselves to death. All of them are buried here at Camp Floyd. However, they were buried with wooden headstones, and when a wildfire came through sometime in the 1930s, they lost track of who was who. So in the 1960s, they put new headstones at the cemetery. Only problem was, some of the names were incorrect, spelled wrong, they didn't die at Camp Floyd. In fact, some of them weren't ever even stationed in Utah to begin with. So in 2009, they used ground penetrating radar to locate where each soldier was buried. Turns out they're kind of all over the place, and nobody really knows which one is which. So rather than dig them up, they were all marked unknown. So there you have it, Camp Floyd, a huge part of Utah and American history right here in Utah County. Like it, subscribe to it, comment below on what you want to see next time on cool stuff in Utah. See ya.